Believe in yourself. Believe in your purpose. And if you can't find your purpose, come over and we'll give you a hand.
This podcast is proudly supported by the Ōtara Network Action Committee, ōNAC Community-Owned, community-driven and community-led.
Hi, once again, thank you so much for joining us. This is Ōtara Podcast, our history, our podcast, sponsored by an amazing team called ōNAC. I don't know if you heard about them. They're an awesome team out in Ōtara, looking out for Ōtara. Who would have knew? They're an amazing group of people who spread their time and their talent out to ensure Ōtara is safe as well as heard. I think that's the most important thing about the whole entire podcast series is that us as Ōtarians, we are heard and action will take forward, because I do believe in our first episode, it was a lot of action. My word, you'll love that first episode. But without further ado, my name is Vincent Tara Vitalina. I almost forgot about my name, Will. My goodness. You know my name, so I let you into my family so you understand. And I'm with the incredible and ever-loving Judith Speight.
Kia ora, Will.
No. Editor can't edit perfect.
You're the right person. Okay. Kia ora, Vinny. That's a lovely introduction. Thank you so much.
Awesome. No worries. We're going to treat this like as a normal conversation that we have every day at Accelerating Aotearoa.
Yeah, me hanging over the reception.
I know, right? And we're just drinking over coffee going, yes, it's a wonderful day to serve our people. Would you mind giving us a little background about Judith Speight? Because they may not heard of our superstar out in Ōtara.
Yeah. So just as we were talking about off air, that whole idea of how do you find what it is that you really want to do? How is it that puts a zing in your life? And I thought I knew what I wanted to do back when I was your age. And I thought I wanted to be, the girl running the big company, doing the stuff, being gold elite on the airplane, getting the free newspaper, and the seat at the front. And then I realised there was actually more to life than that. And I guess about that point I met Tony and we said, well, if we got the second chance at life, what we really want to do is make that second chance different, and we want to make our second chance something that, is the kind of thing that our children might want to be part of, or that it accommodates to them. I mean, both of us have been travelling ridiculous times, hours, days. We probably only had a week together a month. And we knew that wasn't the way we were going to bring up our baby, or the way we really wanted to work. So what could we do, we thought, that might be really significant? And we said, well, why wouldn't we just serve communities where nothing's, not enough is happening, underserved communities? And we kind of looked around, firing into it. It was really good at the beginning. We did have some money to pay us a bit. Which was fortunate, because it takes a while to ramp down your lifestyle from. And I guess we got sucked into all that stuff we've just been talking about. The whole, let's do the strategic review. I remember at one stage I called all the people in Wellington working for the government together in a meeting. That's what we used to do. We called people. We called them together and we sat around a big table and we had nice food. Oh. And I got each of the significant departments to reveal what their strategy was, because they all had digital strategies for the future. And then it was revealed, in fact, that one major accounting firm was one major consulting organisation, was actually consulting to every one of these probably 10 different organisations, writing them all different organisational plans. Yeah. And I guess that was probably my moment in time where I realised that a lot of this kind of, looking into the future is making a whole lot of fat consultants, and they don't really give two tosses about what's going on. They're just there to make a whole heap of money. I mean, the money that was paid, I don't know if it's paid in these days or not, but the money that was paid to consultants in those days was appalling. Yeah, unforgivable, really. So I guess that the little segue there is into Sully's realisation today, is sharing that let's not look outside let's look within. Let's look within Ōtara to find solutions for Ōtara, because that's what's really important. So give us the resources. Don't spend it on those fancy meetings in Wellington, because you guys haven't got any idea at all what's going on. So arriving in Ōtara, I never forget the first day that we walked into the building. It had been lent to us for a year by a guy that we'd worked very closely with, and I won't name him, but we certainly appreciated his work and his contribution. But if you can imagine our amazing site at Lovegrove Crescent with horizontal water structures pouring through the ceiling, so we'd had curtains all over where the laptops are now.
Wow.
It was quite creative and quite interesting. And we understood why the previous people had moved out. Anyway, bit by bit, over about 3 years, I think we've got rid of all the leaks now. But it was not really conducive to the digital environment we were trying to build. I think you really have to hang about a community for at least 3 years before anybody is going to take you seriously. And Sally always says, don't turn up and try and boss people around. Show that you're there to stay. And I'm not saying that 3 years is a perfect number, but probably about 3 years, people started opening doors for us to talk about things and trusting us a little bit to be part of things. And I think that was about the time I actually got elected onto the ōNAC board. So there was a bit of trust there, since it's an election process from the community, and I'm very grateful for that, thinking back. I think it's time you asked me a question now, Vinny.
Oh, no, absolutely. No.
So that's how we come to here.
I'm sorry, I was lost in your glow, so I couldn't help it. It's accolades after accolades, but accolades that not only were with you, but you always, and I love about you, it's always a we situation. We achieve something like this, and it's always beautiful to hear it. As a person who is in your glow now after 2 years, and I wasn't in the glow yet, so I don't know where I was. I was in the dark, stumbling somewhere. Probably in my room with my blankets, but
you could talk about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you going to?
No, not yet.
I'll share it. So, got to know Vinny in the first lockdown, really, properly.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And we were all locked down, and we used to have our team meetings every day. And Vinny would materialise in a tent, which we came to realise after about the 3 or 4 weeks. It wasn't actually a tent; it was his duvet over his head. And so we didn't even know if he had hair or anything, really, because all we ever saw was Vinny was the tent.
It became known as the blanket of wisdom. I'm just going to say that out there, viewers. It was brilliant.
The blanket of wisdom. Yeah. Oh. Anyway.
So, you know what? Thank you. I'm going to segue from there. So from going into Accelerating Aotearoa as a new family member, I like to always think of it as a new family member going into a new family. What are your current thoughts in these times, especially during lockdown? What are your thoughts of Ōtara trying to strive in these moments of hardship, especially in lockdown? You and the rest of our team is serving food parcels, clothing. What are your thoughts around that? Because if you had to talk to me pre-COVID, I wouldn't have seen this as an ongoing thing. I would have thought, it's a flu and that's it. But it's not, guys. But it's not. But yeah, what were your thoughts when you went into that first lockdown, as it was happening?
I think something that always stays with me is I'd like to think that we dreamt it up, but it was actually written about us that if you need something, you come to Accelerating Aotearoa and they will help you get whatever it is you need. And that might be clothes and it's probably food, but it also might be someone to sit with you and help you, as I saw you, Vinny, help someone get some teeth or help someone get a hearing aid those are the things that changed people's lives. And that's the work that, Vincent is a colleague as well as a guy on the other side of the desk here. I saw him do that magic, determined, get you what you need.
Yeah.
And just amazing. And it's not that hard. I guess that goes back to what Sally said too, isn't it? Just be determined. And, we don't need a whole lot of people there. We just need out of self-determination and to reach out and get those resources that we need. Yeah. So going into lockdown, we were just committed that we would, we'd glove up, gown up, mask up, but we would make sure our community got food. We weren't going to hide away by climbing, COVID numbers to not give food to our community. I don't think we've missed a week, except for a couple of weeks over Christmas. Ever since then, but, people are hungry, families are hungry. We know where the food is. We're just going to jolly well do it. And even this year, the team rang me the minute. Well, no one went away really, but. The minute that Christmas was tidied up and the decorations were gone, there was Heather was on the phone. Come on, Judy, we need to do the food this week. So I rang up and one of the guys said that they'd open up and we were able to deliver that food. So that made it's so basic, but it's incredibly humbling to know that you can make a difference. And I think about the people that every day bring stuff to us. So in the garage, Tony and I normally make a trip out to Ōtara, not just to do the vacuuming.
No, of course not. Of course not.
But also to bring all the gifts that people have brought. And it's just ongoing. And, really good stuff, great stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm thinking the other day on the clothes thing, how the lovely Heather bought you those suits.
Yeah.
Vinny's going to be at church soon. Either that or married. Looking very flash.
Big fingers crossed. And I'm not saying much, but
so it's something we all share in. And we're part of. We're not doing it to anybody. We're part of it. We're sharing what we have with our family of Ōtara, the big whānau.
Absolutely. And then you see, our group is like a small circle and a bigger, wider circle in of communities, and you see other people who are out there, especially in the ōNAC group, who every time when I go to an ōNAC meeting, I feel like I'm being dosed with a lot of sugar because it's so sweet. Because a lot of people just want to give so much, and they give their time and their effort into making something that a lot of people would have written off beautiful and very strong, and that goes out to you as well. So when we think about Ōtara, and I want to make this into a thing, when you think about Ōtara, what are the three key words that you think when you hear Ōtara? Just right on the top of your head.
I think there's that aroha that's brimming over everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and I think that there's, you can't forget Paulie. Paulie's had a OMC was such, that was aroha from the beginning too, wasn't it? And
absolutely.
Just when Sally said that this morning, I remember we had some visitors from the States. And we were introducing them to, what was going on, and we introduced them to Sally, and you realise that, Sally was godfather to one of our greatest singers. And she went, yeah, how bizarre. It was incredible. So, an international emblem of hope and goodwill and love and plenitude, I guess. And then the third thing, I think, sort of either holding it all together or over the top is, as you said, ōNAC, the Ōtara Network. It's a place that comes together, and all through every single lockdown, we've had these amazing network meetings, 70 or 80 people all going online to find out what's going on in the community because they're stuck inside. And it gave us a place to be and a place to find out and a place to function effectively as a community. So, number 3.
That's awesome. Because I always think that during that lockdown period that we were all in our individual bubbles. And it was awesome to see that when you go onto Zoom and you see different organizations, Kangaora being one of them, and Ōtara Health and ōNAC, just facilitating all these amazing groups and going, okay, what do you have to say? Let's hear what you got to offer, so that to make sure that our people are catered to, you know. And every time when I hear you speak, and it's just like quiet. Well, because everyone wants to hear what you got to say. It's awesome. And
we should better not forget our amazing chairperson.
Oh, yes.
Jane. I mean, Jane Motto has really pulled ōNAC together over those 2 years in particular of COVID lockdowns, and she's been incredible in her leadership.
Yeah.
And the fact that, as her commitment, as you've said in your introductions, you know, she has been very enthusiastic about supporting this podcast so that we can tell the stories of Ōtara. Can we have a bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. If you got amazing stories, let's hear it, man.
Well, no, just what I was thinking about this podcast, because it's been in our hearts for a wee while now, and it's just, you know, that this, if you take this amazing studio, which is humble in its origins, and yet it's here it is, and you know, it looks $1 million. It's got fantastic talent, and it's do what it takes. I think that's possibly one of the other underlying that we have for, do what it takes. That's what we have to do if we're going to make things happen. So we don't need those people on the outside. We just need the people on the inside who are just going to do what it takes to do stuff. And here we may as well be at TVNZ right now, except that none of us spend any time in makeup.
Oh, I mean, Judy, you're naturally just beautiful anyway.
In fact, if this looks terrible as a video, we're going to be cutting it.
Oh, no, you look fantastic. Don't worry about it. But what's even more beautiful is Ōtara. And just, what is it that you would like to see for not only Accelerating Aotearoa, but Ōtara in the near future? I gave this question out to Sully, because you just feel his aura, his mana, and both of you have different types of mana. His is like very action, and you could feel it, like his words were just concise and just right to the point. You are very gentle, very motherly. You want to make sure that whoever's listening to this podcast, that kindness comes forward, and then they feel comfortable. Any Otarian would feel it too. And that's what we also need, not only the action side of things, but that mana, that love. So with your kind words, what do you see Ōtara in the next year, well, in the future, really?
Yeah. So if I look to Ōtara rising from this pandemic, what I would wish and what I would strive for is for us all to find that sense of self, to find the sense of purpose, to understand that, you know, lying around on the couch is actually not exciting, and if we can get off the couch and find our sense of purpose, find our aroha, we can make a change. So we can make, you know, our humble studio look like $1 million and go on air. We can create things everybody has within them.
Yeah.
And with the amazing leadership of people like Sully, there's that opportunity to grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's creating the next generation of talent and of amazing people out in Ōtara.
Yeah.
And making sure that talent and that beautiful people know that they don't need to go out to Central Auckland to make it out big. They have the needs here in Ōtara, and that's the beauty of it. That our culture, that our knowledge, that our people that we've shared so many memories and events throughout the years is kept within the boundaries of Ōtara.
To feed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it needs to feed the people who they can be, who they are, how we can rise up.
Yeah, exactly.
Rise up.
Yeah. Rise up. I always like to think that Ōtara is the big tree, the big oak tree out at the back, and it always has fruit. It always and it has different types of fruit, knowledge, culture. and a telephone.
It's raining mobiles.
But so going back to my thought was just Ōtara is always like a big oak tree. It has different types of fruits among it. It has knowledge, has care, nurture, and whatnot. And we, as Ōtarians, are slowly picking out the fruit. We're ignoring the things around us because this is what we need. We need to nurture that tree as well as take from that tree. But reminding
and gain our sense of purpose.
Absolutely. Because who else you can't really pick up from other trees. This one's already here for us, and we can gain a lot of things from it.
Can we make the tree a Kōri tree?
Okay. We'll make it a Kōri tree. Awesome. I like to leave off with one more question, or final question. I always like to put out to my guests, and I want to make it a thing. What would be your thoughts or quote that you like to leave us with? Words of positivity that you want to leave to our listeners, especially our Ōtarians who are listening to our podcast. Something that will lift them up.
Believe in yourself. Believe in your purpose. And if you can't find your purpose, come over and we'll give you a hand. Absolutely.
Our doors are open and always are.
Yeah.
Just don't call us at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's a different story that we like to get into.
Yes.
But I'm also about to say that it's always been a pleasure. It's a given. Thank you so much, Judy. Thank you for your hard work, and thank you for sharing your awesome wisdom. Just being amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vinny.
And that's us, man. I hope you enjoy.